This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, everybody? Time to bring the pain of week number 3 into your living room. Whether it be watching on Facebook, watching on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, or hell, just go ahead and watch it on your big screen TV like we need to be. Because we got 3 big egos in this house, and we all need our proper introduction. To my right, he is wearing some Japanese anime crap that's going on right there. He is the coach. What's going on, coach? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Down at the bottom, he is being anti-Chicago Bear today because he says it's laundry day. We all know the difference. He does not want to jinx Justin Fields on his first start, but it is Mike down at the bottom. What's up, Mike? Good morning.
Bro, chilling, bro. It's a new era today. Very excited about it. The Fields jersey will be ready by 12.
All right, make sure it's put it because listen, I don't dry my jerseys. I make sure they hang dry. So I'm not sure if you're gonna wear yours sopping wet or what, but
I got it hanging already.
Oh, okay. So that's what you mean by it was just chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Put it on the shower curtain. Call it a good day.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we've survived the first couple of weeks, even though one of these weeks is kind of extra because it's a 17 game season. But survived the first couple of weeks, except for 7 teams, and we'll get to that later. Those 7 teams, they don't look very good, and we'll talk about that later. But those 0-2s, hopefully they don't go 0-3s. But we do have a slate of big games going on today. One of them happening in Cleveland where Justin Fields will make his first start thanks to Andy going ahead and chubbing out a bone. It's the Browns and Bears in Cleveland. We also have the Kansas City Chiefs who got shocked by the Titans. They're at 1-1. They're at home.
Ravens.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. You want to jump in, coach?
No, I said it's Ravens, not the Titans.
Oh, excuse me, the Ravens. Excuse me. That's right, the Ravens. And they're going to go ahead and try to get bounced back against the Chargers at home. We got the Patriots playing at home against the Saints, Jameis Winston. Which Winston are we going to see? The one that threw 5 touchdowns or the one that threw multiple interceptions? We got Tyler Heineke trying to prove himself in Buffalo. That's going to be a tough one. Both teams 1-1. They're trying to go ahead and get their groove on. That's right. And in L.A., Tom Brady goes up and faces a stout Rams defense. Both teams 2-0. Somebody's moving on to 3-0. Unless it's a stupid tie, but that's beside the point. And Dak Prescott returns back to Dallas to face the Eagles and Justin Hurts. Those are the games on tap right now. And, of course, one other one's at Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers went ahead and got all his clones or his drones or his haters off his back for that win last week. He's going into San Francisco to face the 49ers. But what do you make about that, though? Aaron Rodgers going ahead. He got all the heat on week 1. All the heat, like he's just given up. He's just given up on the team. His mind is not on football anymore. And now he could just say, stick it up your rear. How do you feel about that comment? Is that something that you would do in your predicament if you were Aaron Rodgers, or do you kind of take the high road and it's like, hey, listen, we just had a great week this week?
For me personally, as a former athlete, I completely understand like the high road thing. I completely understand just trying to be quiet, trying to be that guy, just focusing on what I do. I was always in the weight room. I was always last one to leave. I was always putting in extra stuff. But for me, every time I'd get on the field and I'd see the people who were always talking on, the school website or whatever when I actually did show out, I definitely let it be known. So I am with Aaron. I am 100% okay with, just going out there and having fun and letting these critics feel it, because, you go out there and you stick your job out there. You stick your neck out there to bash me. So when I prove you wrong, I'm going to make sure that your boss knows you were wrong. I'm going to make sure that everybody knows that this guy went on live TV and said Aaron Rodgers is over with. I'm also going to say this, though. You beat the Lions, bro. You've been doing that for 15 plus years. Like everybody and their mom has been doing that for 15 plus years. I promise you that. But it's not really showing anything to me yet. I definitely didn't think he was folding the bed for the rest of the entire year. But I definitely think there are going to be games like that where Aaron looks amazing, and there's going to be games like that where Aaron's just kind of looks a little lousy. And then I think that comes to the point at the end of the day where he's showing you, at least in my eyes, as if I was in his situation, I'd give you weeks where I'm showing you what we could be, and then I'm showing you weeks what you're going to be once I leave. And that's completely what week 1 was here's what's going to happen once Jordan Love is in full time. Here's what happens when I'm gone and I take Devontae Adams with me. And that's truly how I looked at it.
Before I get to you, Coach, I do want to go ahead and make a point. Since Mike is a diehard Bears fan, he does have some brown colors back there. He's got the dark brown and the
orange and blue
there.
wall.
That's not blue. Coach, is that blue? That's not blue.
That's blue.
That's not blue.
That's blue.
You need to watch that.
Blue. We're not light blue. We're not the Rams.
Those are Cleveland brown colors. I'm sorry. Basically, just telling you what I see.
And that's the ghost of Tom Brady behind you, and he's not coming back.
That's right. You're right. He's not coming back. I don't want him back.
He will be next week.
Yeah. Oh well. He'll. Shut up. I will be on the show. I just won't be hosting, but I will be on the show to give my take on that. Coach, you're in charge of Aaron Rodgers. You're the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Do you like what he did?
I mean, that's Aaron Rodgers. He got the right to say what he wants. He's got a proven track record. So he can say what he wants. It's not, I mean, honestly, truthfully, not who really, they just pretty much hyped it up to say that just to have something to talk about for week 2,
exactly.
Week 3. So it's like, we're going to talk about this. At least give us something to talk about. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, it's really the teams that are supposed to win are winning. You got a few surprises. So he's fine. I mean, like I told you, like I said it from, like I've been saying it, that first game was a preseason game for them. One thing about it is, though, about the Packers, it's not the offense. That defense is trash. They're getting up a lot of points. It's not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to do him, but they can't stop anybody.
Unless it's the Lions, which everybody can apparently stop. I
mean, but you think about it, it was a good game.
Yeah.
Like
it was. They were down at half.
Yeah, so it wasn't like that the line they just blew the Lions out. Is that defense has to be able to stop somebody. So it's not, to me, it's not really Aaron Rodgers. Man, I just think if Aaron Rodgers gone, now they got that money to spend money on the defense and the offense.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
ain't that how it always goes too?
It is.
The old school you used to be at completely upgrades after you graduate. Oh my God. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. They're gonna do crazy things with that roster the second he's gone.
And we'll see. And you really guys think that Jordan Love stepping in? Do you really think he's got the guns to do it? No, I'm not saying like right away, but do you think with given time and everything, would he be able to be a successful quarterback in Green Bay?
I think he's got the gun. I think he's got a cannon. I think he is a great quarterback athletically wise. I just don't think he has the poise or the decision-making ability yet to be thrown to the wolves right now. I think you've seen a lot of issues with him. Last year, he wasn't even your backup quarterback. He was your third stringer. He couldn't even beat out whoever. I couldn't even name who it was, but he was on the roster and he couldn't beat him out. So for me, it's one of those things where I think he continues to sit and continue to develop and be that guy. And it's unfortunate he has to do that a little bit early. but everybody does in this league. And at one point or another, you're going to have to show what you're made of. And that's just the truth. We're seeing that with Justin Fields right now. Are you going to wet the bed, or are you going to be the franchise quarterback? You've seen it with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Mac Jones to an extent. There were talks that he was going to sit this year. No, you're not. You're playing. And you have to either meet that expectation or have one damn good reason why you don't.
Honestly, being a top 15 quarterback, and I can say about the other quarterbacks that were taken in the top 15, except for Trevor Lawrence, which, listen, you're going number one, you're starting. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You're going number one, you're getting paid, and you're starting. But, the other quarterbacks that were taken, except for Zach Wilson, I don't understand.
It's a whole different world there.
That's just – could you imagine – is this Zach Wilson, or is this just the Jets? I mean,
I thought a bit more of the Patriots defense with a rookie quarterback playing, not a lot of weapons. So I feel like that would have happened.
That's a Patriot defense without Stephon Gilmore.
It's still a nice defense led by Bill Belichick. So I think they had a lot of preparation on him. I think Bill completely understood.
No.
You don't think they went into that week knowing exactly who Zach Wilson was?
It was 2 weeks in. He played chunk it up. Now that one pick, that was a good pick. But the rest of them, he was just chunking it up. I mean, it's about making decisions. You could take, like you say, you take the Patriots. They're not going to put Mac in any issue. He's not going to go out there and go 4 or 5 wide and just drive the field. He's going to run it, play action. We're going to throw it. And then we're going to play defense. He doesn't have to make hard decisions. It's like, hey, if it ain't there, don't make the throw. Let's punt. Let's play defense.
Right.
You got the Jets. It's basically no different from having Sam Darnold. It's basically no difference. You can say all the talent, you can have all this, but then look what happens. He's think he's at BYU. Oh, I can throw this. I'm going against these guys. No, that's the thing. That's the issue. You can't just say, hey, I need you to throw the ball 40, 50 times. I mean, I think that's where we mess up as people. You take, like you said, Bird. He was at LSU. He played against D1 defenses, and he had a good offensive coordinator. So we taught him how to read it. I mean, and I think that's where a lot of people you mess up. You say, oh well, they went number one, and this, that. Some people are not ready. It's all either you have to have a good defense, you got to have a good line, or you got to have a coach that take care of it.
Right. So it's definitely early, but I wanted to ask Charles too because we didn't get a chance to talk about it. It was a little later in the week. Sam Darnold, even with CMC going down, looks nice. He's looking good with Robbie Anderson. He's looking good with all these cats down in Carolina. It's way too early to be making this statement. You still don't know down the line what Zach Wilson's going to be. But if you were the GM today of the New York Jets, would you be thinking, maybe I should have took a Devontae Smith. Maybe I should have took a Penei Sewell. Maybe I should have took someone instead of Zach Wilson and hung on to what's his name, Sam Darnold.
See, the thing is, what Sam Darnold proven in New York, that's all you got. That's all you got to go on. So that is a decision making that basically will define your GM career. Is you go ahead and you keep your franchise quarterback, or do you go ahead and say we need to go in another direction? And I think that's been the problem with the Jets all too often. Is they're changing out quarterbacks like underwear.
Right.
It's to the point where you got to stick with somebody.
I know that feeling.
You got to stick with somebody. You got to give them the weapons. If you don't have the weapons, then what does that say about your team? You could stick Tom Brady in there. I'm not talking about 25, 30-year-old Tom Brady. I'm talking about 33-year-old Tom Brady now. Yeah. He needs those weapons. As before, it's like, listen, as long as I have somebody that knows the system, we're good. But you go stick any quarterback in that situation, and it's just like it ain't working out.
Right, it's a bad time
at all. So it's a lot of it's in the GM's hands. Where are you going to spend the money? Because listen, you take whatever salary cap you have, you got to make decisions. Who's going to get the money? Who's going to be this all-star player that is going to demand top dollar? And can you fill the rest of the slots with the money you have with decent personnel? Doesn't have to be all-star personnel, decent.
Right.
And I think that's where the Jets are. The Jets have not had decent personnel in a long-ass time. Even with Le'Veon Bell was trash because their offensive line was trash. So again,
Le'Veon also did things though to wet the bed for himself. I mean, you're a running back.
I'm not talking about
missed the whole
personally
year.
Le'Veon. I'm just talking about the Jets.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think Le'Veon's fall was bigger than I think the Jets.
Well, yeah, I think. Listen, staying on the sidelines for a whole year.
That was it. That was it for me. Where I said, "Wow, you actually might lose that second gear."
Yeah, it's sad because he was the talent, and now what happened? You don't know. He's still sitting in the practice field, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep. Freeman. I think Freeman's getting one of the starts this week.
How do you feel for that? Le'Veon Bell going from starting running back for the Jets to practice squad with the team that's been decimated on their running back squad. Practice squad.
That's just the game. That's how it goes. One decision can change everything.
I'm telling you, I'd fire my agent for that. You gotta put me on a practice squad? You mean to tell me nobody else wants a running back? You mean to tell me nobody else wants me? No, they don't want your drama. They don't want you.
But you got to realize too, though, man, running backs is a dime a dozen now.
Well, you don't got to pay these cats. You could take one in the 7th round, give you just as many reps in production as Le'Veon Bell does. He's 22 years old.
Yeah. Well, it all depends too, because again, you still have to have that skill. And I'm not saying nobody's got the skill. I'm just saying there's a lot of running backs out there that got that skill. I think Le'Veon's got the skill, but he's you can't show it now because he's sitting on taking his third string snaps. Right. Not even on Sunday.
Hey, but I will say this, going back to the comment about the Jets. One thing that Sam Darnold has is he has Brady. And I think if not this year, probably next year, you're gonna hear a lot about him, the OC for the Carolina Panthers. He did it with Joe Burrow when he was at LSU. The year before Joe Burrow started, no one hadn't had a season he had till Tom Brady came. Not Tom Brady, I'm sorry, the other Brady, the OC, when he came, and then now he went to Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater looks good. Now Sam Darnold looks good. So you got to give a lot of credit to Brady.
Let's talk about that too, because listen, like you mentioned, after the first couple of weeks, there's some surprises on the opposite ends of the coin. There's some surprises at 0-2. There's some surprises at 2-0, like the Raiders at 2-0. I didn't see the Raiders being 2-0 or the Broncos. Both those teams in the West, both of them ahead of the Chiefs. Who saw this coming?
I actually saw the Broncos, but the Raiders really surprised me.
Yeah. Coach, what do you think? Raiders or Broncos? Is there one more that's a surprise, or did you see that coming?
Well, I saw the Broncos because they got Teddy. One thing about Teddy, he's not gonna throw picks. You hear me say it all the time, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Teddy check down. He gonna check you down. He's gonna throw it away. He makes smart decisions. Which, if you look at the Broncos, you see how they draft, and every year they draft, they're more of a defensive sound. So they go defense. Coach is a defensive guy. So he's pretty much, hey, offense, give me 14. Let me try to stop you. Now, the Raiders, I didn't think they were going to have a pass rush like they're having right now. So I have to give them a lot of credit because I couldn't name one person on that defensive front. So now, but they had some good pickups from other teams, free agents. Like I said, the ends they're rushing. They can only rush 4 now, which is good. When you only can rush 4, it's drop people in coverage. That causes a lot of problems.
So out of the teams that are undefeated, there are 7. Carolina 3-0. Everybody else is 2-0. Cardinals, Broncos, Raiders, Rams, 49ers, and Bucks. Which out of those do you fellas think is the worst 2-0 team to start the season? Or 3-0, excuse me. 3-0 or 2-0. Undefeated.
I would have to say Broncos right now, just based off the fact that you just saw an injury with Chubb and you just saw things going on that defense. There's a couple injury bugs going around. So depth-wise, I don't know where they're really going to be at. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out, especially if Chubb does miss some time. With Teddy, I like Teddy. I like Teddy a lot, but Teddy has a history of not being able to finish a season fully healthy. And if you have to go to Drew Lock, that's a wrap. That's a wrap on that season. I don't care what anybody says. The running game is, I mean, let's be real about the running game. It's just one of those things where these guys are older and they're all just coming together trying to fill the shoes of a real RB1. So Jerry Judy's out, he's injured for a while. So I definitely think if you were to look at it from that perspective, with Vic Fangio being as defensive heavy as he is, I definitely say the Broncos, but it's not by far.
No, so it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Coach, what do you think? Who's the worst undefeated team at this time?
I got two. I'm gonna say the Raiders and I'm gonna say the Cardinals. One thing
Coach.
Whoa, I gotta yeah. So why do you let me put why Cardinals?
Why Cardinals? Okay, you played Minnesota.
Yeah.
Total defense was out.
Yeah, I agree.
Cooks was hurt, and you lost. You should have lost, but you only won because of a kick field goal. So that's it. You should have lost. You should have lost.
Dub's a dub.
So I just sit there and I look at it like
they shouldn't even be 2-0 then, right?
Offensively, they're a gimme squad. What's name's gonna run around and then chunk it up.
Well, let's put it this way: they're a gimmick squad. They've scored 72 points. That's the most in the NFL.
I know,
and that includes Carolina's 3 games.
Who did they play?
Doesn't matter who they played.
Yes, it does. Who did they play?
You really think Minnesota has really a shitty defense?
They were all hurt.
They all got into a car accident. They were pretty banged up.
But you gotta realize they have 6 games in the West, correct? And you have to play. You're playing the NFC South also.
Right.
And you're gonna be mad today, Coach. They play the Jaguars.
Oh, I'm not gonna be mad about that.
They're like, that's another team that doesn't count.
They played the Titans the first one. They scored 38 points against the Titans.
They held them to 13 too.
Yeah.
Okay, and continue. And who they play?
And let's talk about Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, what's his name, Justin Jefferson, and I believe Dalvin Cook did play.
I know, but he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt.
He's hurt right now. He's not hurt then.
He was. How did he get hurt?
He got hurt last week
during the game.
Right, but he didn't start off that way. It's not like Dalvin wasn't there from the jump.
Again,
I'm just saying though, it was a shootout to where they scored 34 friggin' points.
That's what I'm saying. What happened that first game? All of a sudden, it was like, oh, defense.
So wait though. But the Bucks didn't get clocked by the Cowboys?
You're talking about the first game of the season.
Oh, that's different.
No, listen to me.
You know what? See, Mike, you know what he's trying to do is he's trying to make the point where the first game of the season where the Cardinals just routed the Titans, that was preseason.
Yeah.
No.
No, that doesn't count.
No, what I'm saying is this is what you got to realize. First game of the season is pretty much you have no film, you don't have any tape on anybody, so you're playing the guessing game, right or wrong. Right?
You have a whole tape on a team from last year.
Mike, no, it's a different. You have different players.
Have tape on
What's the difference? Julio Jones?
Come on, Mike.
Come on, Coach.
So
you really think they're going to play the same crappy offense?
So what? The
first game, they're going to put some wrinkles into it.
Let's take the Cardinals. Let's talk about the Cardinals.
Right.
Yeah.
They play fast. They play chunking around, right? So when you go 3 downs and out, Mike, you play defense, correct?
Yeah.
So it's very tiring. Once you get on the sideline, 3 minutes later, you got to go back on the field. Yeah. And they drive the field.
Yeah, you get tired out.
Then they get back. They drive the field. Boom. You get a 3-minute break. Like that's tiring over time, like your body.
Right.
And now, once you get to the point, because you got to realize who you're finna get ready, who you're going against. Seattle.
Ooh.
Then you got to go against the 49ers. They're gonna smash mouth.
Well, right. Maybe later on they might smash mouth, but as of right now they can't.
But even the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams.
I'm saying, and then you got to go. You still have to go to the NFC South. Like we said, Bucks is gonna give you what they're gonna give you.
Right.
Like that's the thing with that type of offense that you have. Hence the fact that's what happened last year. That he got hurt towards the end. Like they don't have a running game. Like he runs around, chunk it up. That looks good. Oh, that's good on Madden. We do it on Madden all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about in real life, He's 5'8", 175 pounds soaking wet. You can't do that and then you got an extra game. You can't do that. That's the thing. That's why I say it looks good now, but over time, I'm talking about over time. You go 3-0, but then now they got to go through. They're gonna have a gauntlet part.
Right, but here's my thing looking at it, and it's maybe it's because I'm more of a defensive player. As a safety, all my main job is watch the quarterback. So all I do is watch this kid ball out. This kid's doing a lot more than you're giving him credit for. This kid's not only chucking it up, he's dotting people up. Like he's looking nice. I feel like you kind of got to give him a little bit more credit than he deserves. These aren't just random chucks, Hail Marys, D-hops out there somewhere like Derek Carr and Derrick Henry are doing, or Henry Ruggs.
Hey, answer this. How did the Bears make the playoffs?
Because Kyler was hurt. No, like that's the real of it. That's the real of it. It came down to Arizona losing and Kyler was hurt. So I feel like
Mike, answer this. What type of offense like that wins the Super Bowl?
Rams.
No, they ran the ball. They had Marshall Faulk. They threw it. What type of offense?
They threw it all over the field, though. Come on, they chucked it up as well.
But Kurt Warner was worried. He was in the pocket. He was protected.
Well, listen, it's a different ball game. You could go ahead, you can roll out of the pocket and still chuck it up.
Here's my thing, though, and I want your take on it, Coach. It's one of those things where, we haven't seen a guy like Lamar win a Super Bowl yet. We haven't seen a guy like Kyler win a Super Bowl yet, but we saw Russ do it. And once Russ got a little bit more of a passive kind of guy, more of a pocket passer kind of guy, you kind of saw him implement those steps needed to win a Super Bowl. And now he's kind of implementing those steps. So are you to tell me that 3 to 5 years down the line, if they don't bring in some running back in the second round, you don't think they can make it to the big show with this defense of J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons?
That's not the offensive style.
Yeah.
He was at Texas Tech. He chunks it up. How do you think what you see Pat Mahomes doing is the exact same thing he did at Texas Tech? If you looked at when he coached at Texas Tech, the scores was 56-40 something.
Right.
The style of offense that he runs. I'm not saying Kyler Murray is good. Kyler Murray won 4 state championships in the state of Texas in 6A football. He did his thing at Oklahoma. I'm not taking to say he's not a great athlete.
Right.
What I'm saying is you can't just run around and just chunk it up. Like when you say a running game, there's not one. When you use Russell Wilson, he had Lynch. When you had Lynch in the backfield, he's carrying.
Early on, he really didn't.
He did. When
His entire career?
What was the argument in the Super Bowl? They should have handed to Marshawn Lynch. Right or wrong?
Right,
yep,
right. But here's my thing. I'm telling you,
even
in the beginning of Russell's career, Marshawn wasn't always there. So what I'm saying is they can definitely down the line implement an offense and switch it up. I mean, this is an NFL coach we're talking about. We're not talking about a guy who doesn't know what he's doing. And to still say he's just chucking it up. No, bro. Like he's dotting guys up.
Okay, let me rephrase my words. Not chunking it up. You're running a round. You're not really sitting in the pocket. You don't have a legit run game. There's no run game.
Right.
Number one.
He is the run game.
Hey, he's the run game. You're 5'7", 5'8", 180 pounds, maybe. Going against grown men running around.
You're making it sound like it's some guy playing Little League football versus like adults. It's not that.
It's not. It's the offense.
I'll tell you this, though. I'll tell you, right or wrong, really quick. Is it not that 5'8" kid right now making grown men that are 6'4" look bad?
Of course.
Exactly.
So what's the argument?
No comparison in that.
Why isn't he getting picked off 6 times a game?
Hey, here's my argument. You ready for my argument?
Blood. I don't care.
Here's my argument. My argument is this. Can you do it 19 games?
Right, but here's the thing.
Let's worry about the
regular season. If you were to look into the future right now, there's a good probability if you look at the past that Aaron Rodgers is probably going to break his collarbone this year because we've seen that 5 or more seasons throughout his career. So for me to go out there and say, oh, Kyler's going to get hurt because he got hurt last year on a cheap shot that was horrible. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm looking at it like this. Coach, if you really truly feel that way, that's one thing. But there's nothing to base off it right now that Kyler is is injured, and he's going to get injured again.
Wait. So hold on a second. So you're talking, Coach, you're talking about, can he stay consistent for the entire regular season? Are you talking about injury or production-wise?
What I'm saying is this. With the offense that they run, even if he stay healthy, the offense that you run, you're in shootouts. You're going to be in straight shootouts. Regardless
of the defense to go in a shootout.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Chandler Jones didn't have 5 sacks in week 1.
What did he do last week?
JJ Watt's not an all-pro. Isaiah Simmons is the top pick.
Stop. JJ Watt's is, come on, man. Come on, man.
Really think that
don't live off.
Is there any team? Wait. Is there any team whatsoever that you see consistent players in each week besides Brady or some of these big names? No, you see different receivers break out for 150-yard games, 3 touchdowns, and the next week they go and they get shut down for maybe only 2 or 3 attempts because everybody is going ahead and making adjustments. Now, the question is, you said, can he keep it up for a full season? Well, the question is the offensive coordinator going to be able to adjust when the defense adjusts?
Right. I think
the thing about, look, I'm gonna say it again. When you look at their offense, you look at what it is. You don't have an established running game. You have to in the NFL. You have to be able to run the ball. He has to be able to touch it. You said about Dak, he can't throw it 50, 60 times a game.
Can't.
You said that.
I don't think that's a good scenario for that.
But what's the difference is when you say Dak with his 3 receivers that he had can't throw it 50, 60 times a game, but then now you say, oh, Kyler Murray can do it.
Kyler Murray's like, I'm just saying.
I think Charles' point was more of Dak's coming off a huge season-ending ankle injury, and then he had shoulder issues 2 weeks prior to that game, and in the first game back in over a year, you had him throw it 60 times. I think that was Charles' point, whereas, we've seen that Kyler Murray was ready to go a week later. He just didn't get the opportunity to.
What is Dallas's main MO on offense? Is their line. And what happens when you have a good line and a good back? You get a lot of rushing attempts, a lot of rushing yards. It wasn't there against the Bucs. I don't know if the Bucs just had a game planned or what, but yeah, he cannot do it 60 times a game because he needs that running game. He does need it. His arm will get tired out, and defenses will go ahead and adjust.
And I don't know about you, Coach. I know you don't believe in it, but I do feel like, Edmonds and James Conner, they're not going to be productive the entire year, but there are going to be games where they show out. They definitely are. I think those two are not.
Showing that he can go ahead and be explosive.
Right. They are not bad backs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not bad backs.
No, I understand. You're saying
I'm saying the scheme that you have,
right,
because
it doesn't involve them.
But see, how many games have you watched with Texas Tech?
Texas Tech, bro. I ain't even going to.
Thank you. And again, how many running backs have we talked about coming out of Texas Tech?
Right, but what I'm trying to tell you is I've watched football.
Let Coach make this point because we kind of been talking to.
But we talked about it coming out of Texas Tech. We talked about receivers. We talked about quarterbacks.
Right.
That's it. Why? Because he's a chunk it up. He's a thrower guy. He's a vertical guy. Look, I'm just saying with the offense that you're running, it's not a offense that you can sit there and say, hey, we could go 3 rounds deep in the playoffs.
Right. No, yeah, definitely.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. What's Marshall University known for?
Receivers and quarterbacks.
Really? Because there's only one person I know that made any history with being from Marshall. That's Randy Moss.
Yeah, it's not much.
You can pick a diamond in the rough anywhere.
Right.
If they see the talent, and it's like, okay, fine. I know a lot of it has to do, and I'm not a college guy. I'll be 100% up there. But I know a lot of it is these big name schools going against each other where you're basically playing NFL caliber styles.
Right.
And I know that's where a lot of people pick from. However, you still can have the Marshalls out there, the Marshall Universities out there, come in, shock the shit out of you, and go ahead and just blow everything out of the water.
Right. I mean, we look at it like Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Oh, he's not good because that's not a quarterback school. That means nothing to me because half of the people of the Chiefs fan base couldn't tell you right now where Patrick Mahomes went to college. I could promise
I don't
you
even
that.
know, to be honest with you.
I promise you that. So the biggest thing to me, he didn't go to a Clemson. He didn't go to a Alabama. He didn't go to a LSU. He didn't at all. So for me, where you go to college doesn't imply how talented you truly are. It's about how much opportunity you were planning on getting and how much you wanted to show your stuff.
Here's the thing. And I'm gonna say that it's not, and I'm using, and I say Texas Tech not because of the college. I'm saying it for the simple fact of the matter. That's where he came from. Like even Pat Mahomes, of course, Pat Mahomes from White House Tech in Tyler, East Texas.
Right.
So he wanted to go to A&M. It's a whole. I know a lot about him because we played.
It was the whole thing. I know what you're talking about.
I coached him. I coached against him and everything else when he was in high school. So, but that's a whole nother story. What he's doing now is the exact same thing he did at Texas Tech. Also, the exact same thing he did in high school. Like
but don't you think anybody taking a quarterback would know that?
But even the head coach for the Cardinals, he wanted Kyler Murray. Like he tried to get Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray wanted to go to A&M, I think because his dad went to A&M and blah, blah, blah.
It was something like that.
It didn't work out. They had an issue with the coach. He went to Oklahoma. Of course, you go to Oklahoma because it's a spread offense and everything else. What I'm saying is, regardless of the situation, when you have an offense like that without a running game, at least to give your defense a break, your defense is playing more plays and over time. Because you're naming the guys you name, JJ Watts. JJ Watts hasn't played a full healthy season in like 5-6 years.
Right.
And I can't say too much living in Houston because JJ Watts is like the second coming to Jesus in Houston.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you now.
Apparently it was DeAndre Hopkins too, and he's
and DeAndre Hopkins, and the thing is, but that's the thing when you watch it and you see it because he runs around. Because he can't really see over the line.
Right.
But I'm not knocking none of the players. I'm knocking the
neither could Doug Flutie. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm knocking the scheme. I don't think you're talking about 16, 17, 18 games of doing this. Yeah. And I don't see right now they might make the playoffs. I gotta see. We gotta wait to week 14 to 15.
Right, yeah, I'm not trying to say they're Super Bowl contenders.
I just don't see what they're doing in the long run because it doesn't fit because you have to have a running game.
Right.
That's not his style. That's not the coaching style. That's not the play call style. That's all I'm saying. No. The athletes, man, they're professional athletes, man. They make $millions. Everybody in the league is good.
Let's put it this way. Right. After a couple of weeks right now, he's looking pretty damn good. All right. That's all we can say right now. You want to go ahead, we all can go ahead and play, the crystal ball game and see what happens at week 14. He gets injured. Week 13, he falls off the cliff. And all of a sudden now he's just having bad game after bad game. That's why they play the games, folks. That's why they play the games. Of course. But listen, for what Kyler Murray's doing, I think I have confidence in it. And by the way, he's 5'10", 207. Just that's the statisticals that he's on there. Just wanted to go ahead and point that out. But anyway, enough of that.
He's 5'10". He's 5'10" with his cleats on.
Yep. Well, like 3-inch cleats. We talk about stiletto heels. Anyway, Mike, Coach, would that be considered your first argument?
A little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, let's take it up a notch here. Tua over in Miami. Gone. Oh, no. Now Jacoby Brissett steps in. Are we talking about nightmare situation for Miami? Or were they already in a nightmare anyway? Coach, what do you think? Is Tua really the answer in Miami, or they're just kind of going for a top 10 pick?
I wish I would say he was. I thought he was going to have a better season. Well, I thought he was going to have a good season, honestly, truthfully. Just because now you had your offense, you're healthy now, but it's always something. I mean, I think he's one of those guys because if you go back, you look at him when he was in college, he was hurt. Even before one of the national championships, I think he had surgery on his ankle. Then the year before he came out, he had his hip. And then this year, now it's just a rib. So I think they're going to start calling Deshaun.
And that was going to be the thing. Do you think they start upping the ante over there in Miami to go ahead and say, listen, we need number 4 over here?
I think once that whole situation, once the NFL pretty much let it know, because right now, like I said, you got the owners of the Texans, he's paying big money to sit, not even play, not even dress out. I mean, and the Texans is a whole nother story. But
it's so far, it's like you're not hearing any news unless I haven't heard anything, and maybe you guys have, but I haven't heard anything about Deshaun being suspended. Nothing. I mean, he could play right now if he wants to.
Deshaun's doing what your boy did up there at old New England Patriots. He got in trouble for a massage, and you know what he did? Don't say nothing. Just keep going. Hey, just keep what they say. Just keep going. Just keep going, and you gonna forget about it.
He's an old man. You got to feel sorry for him.
Yeah, but this is more than just one massage. This is 22 different massages.
And I know he's a 70-year-old man. He's horny. What do you want?
And check this out. I live here, and you haven't heard really anything about it. Even if you listen to ESPN, no one really says too much about it because it's kind of like it's under the radar. Even the NFL pretty much hasn't said anything. He's not playing.
It's a tight lip. They're saying, he's a healthy scratch. That's it.
Yeah, and that's what you do. You just look. Hey, stay healthy. Week 6, week 7. All right, look, all these quarterbacks getting hurt. We're gonna throw some out. See what happens.
They're not gonna.
They're already getting hurt. But Mike, go ahead. Give your take.
The league for me with Deshaun, it's the same thing with Josh Gordon that gets so tight-lipped throughout the season. We all know what he's doing, but the NFL and the NFL to me doesn't allow ESPN to talk about it, and I feel like there's some kind of agreement there because it's bad business having these conversations. It's regardless, ESPN doesn't want to talk about it because that's how you lose listeners on ESPN because guys are like, oh well, I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to listen about Texas. They're running this horrible operation with players like that. So it's definitely tight-lipped until the facts are taken out. They're not going to say a word. Once the facts are taken out, I promise you, they will blackball Deshaun. They'll blackball him quick if it's true. They'll have, we don't accept him. We don't this, we don't that. The same thing they did with Colin times 10. So for me, it's one of those things where if I'm Miami, first of all, I like Jacoby. I always really did like Jacoby. He's definitely not a QB1, but he's definitely serviceable. And, when Will Fuller comes back with whatever he has going on in life, I don't know if he's back this week.
He's playing this week.
He's playing this. That's good. I'm happy for him. Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and a lot of great tight ends in that room. Gesicki can catch, or not Gesicki, Gaskins can catch. I really like what Jacoby brings to the table. He's still very mobile. He's a lot less injury prone, and they don't call him Tua turn the ball over. That's literally his name. They can't say Tagovailoa, so they call him turn the ball over. And I think that brings something different to your offense. I think this Miami team's going to look not better without Tua, but it's going to look a lot better than people expected. So I definitely do think that the trade talks are on with Tua because it's not that he's a bust. It's just that there's a lot of baggage that comes with Tua. And I feel like you need the perfect opportunity with the perfect offensive line, kind of like that Cowboys O-line back in the day in the early, what was it, like 2016, 2015, back when that O-line was top tier. You kind of need that kind of protection for a guy like Tua. Tua can take you there. Like Tua is a great player if he develops. But is he going to be able to finish a season? Because, one wrong step and something completely gets destroyed. It's kind of like a Carson Wentz kind of thing where it's there. But it's very unfortunate in that way of just catching that injury bug. And that happens to a lot of guys in the league.
Well, Miami already took him knowing, hey, listen, you had problems with your hip. We're still taking you. And, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm the GM. I'm going to go ahead and make this decision.
Right. It was a boneheaded decision because there were a lot of available top prospects out there. And I felt like for me, and I kind of want your guys' take too, I really feel like with if you're trying to make a franchise run, like a New England Patriots, a Kansas City Chiefs type of run, unless you're lucky like the Bucs where, even the Bucs, you have to get all your pieces kind of together for if you have a young franchise before you bring in that QB1. So they really didn't need to take Tua that year. They didn't need to take a QB that year. They weren't at that time or place to where they did. They could have took one in this year's draft, and I would have been completely understanding of it. You know what I mean? Like, they could have taken a wide receiver in Tua's year and taken Justin Fields this year, and it would have made sense. But to them, I think they rushed it, and they felt like, oh, Tua's the second coming of so-and-so, and he's an Alabama quarterback, so we have to do it. I didn't feel like they needed to take Tua. I feel like if Tua was taken later in a different round, I feel like it's a totally different conversation right now.
You want to know I think real quick before you go, Coach? What I think is I over here take a look at the history of the NFL. I have not seen one major Southpaw quarterback succeed.
Right.
Just saying. Go ahead, Coach.
It doesn't happen.
I mean, I think they looked at it of taking Tua this year, because if you go back and you take this year's quarterbacks, you had Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. You really didn't have Mac Jones as a top 15 pick.
Right. If you're looking at it from a couple years ago.
Like you didn't have these guys at that level. So
right.
I think they looked at it as, hey, let's get a quarterback now, but let's look at all these receivers that's getting ready to come out. There's a lot of good receivers came out this past draft.
Right.
So I think that's what they kind of lived on and did that, But to your point, like I said, I think the biggest issue with Tua is he just can't stay healthy. He's injury prone. He's done it like I said, he did it 2 years in Alabama. He was semi-hurt last year, and he's hurt now. That's consistent.
Yep.
I don't know if his diet. I don't know if he needs to strengthen, drink more milk. I don't know. You got to figure it out.
And then you bring Alex Guerrero in there from the Brady camp and have him eat some avocados. He'll be fine. Same thing goes on with TJ Watt. Just signed a massive deal over in Pittsburgh. Groin, downgrade to out, not playing today. Does this impact the Steelers defensively, or do you think they'll be okay?
No, I think it's a big problem. I think that's a big problem.
Go ahead, Mike, elaborate.
I think, and I'm not saying it's a bad defense. It's not by any means. They were a top defense in last year's, season. But to me, they lost a lot of guys due to free agency. They lost a lot more guys than people account for. And now to lose TJ for a week, it's very concerning to me. Season wise, we just had this conversation, Coach. I think I'm allowed to say it because you were allowed to say it, so I should be. Looking at the whole season, can TJ remain healthy? Can he overcome this injury, or will it be prolonged and will it be stretched out to groin injuries? Don't play. Like, I'll tell you straight up. Like, I thought I rehabbed for 6 weeks throughout a baseball season once, where I was like, okay, cool. Like, I think I'm good. Went out in the outfield, made a great grab. When I came down, you feel that wind go down your leg, and you're like, oh, like, okay, that's back. And we're doing this now. And you have to do the whole thing all over again. It's one wrong movement and mind you, I'm like 160. TJ's a big boy. TJ's a big boy. I'm like 160. TJ's big. That can definitely re-aggravate very quickly. So for me, it's one of those things where I'm looking at it like, can you remain healthy? You are the face of this franchise. Big Ben, to me, has lost that title with the way he's playing. He's more about the door than the face of your franchise. So to me, it's TJ Watt or Najee Harris, whichever way you want to look at it on either coin. But it's definitely a concern moving forward.
Yeah. Coach, what do you think?
Most so
concerned about?
It's not really.
They're playing Cincinnati, so
it's not just. I wouldn't say it's just TJ. If I would have known, I didn't know that half the secondary was out also.
Right. So
that I think that's one of the biggest things. TJ, I kind of understand how he got hurt because
definitely
he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything during training camp. Kind of set out majority of the time. He didn't participate in preseason games. And then now you're trying to turn it back on without really preparing your body for this. I mean, that's one of the biggest issues.
That's the way it goes.
And that's the way, like you said, yes and no. It's hard to say because, like I said, if the secondary is least there, then now they can be more efficient on defense.
Right.
If the secondary is not, like Joe Hayden's out, that's your starting corner. So now that second receiver or however you try to scheme it, he has more time plus with no pass rush. So you got to have one or the other. Either you got to have a secondary or you got to have
a pass rush.
Or And then with the Steelers, I think they're still trying to figure out offensively. They're still, some of them might still believe in being over the old 3 or 4 years ago being to what now they got to make adjustments offensively to help the defense. Hey, we got to run the ball a little bit more. Let's play a little more screen passes and everything else.
So, I mean, again, they're facing Cincinnati this week, and it seems like it's only because he was questionable. So I guess he could have played if everything went okay. So I'm assuming he's just coming back next week. But they're playing Cincinnati this week. So I don't see any big hurdles that they have to go through this time, unless Cincinnati just throws it out of the water. And again, that's why they play the games. You never know. Let's bring it on. Mike, this is your subject here. Justin Fields, week 1 starter. Andy Dalton went ahead and got injured. Fields is in, and we kind of talked about it a little bit before the show. What is your take on Fields getting in here? He's going to be at least the quarterback for the next few weeks. Right. What is your take on here?
I said it my first show on here. I said Dalton won't last by week 3. And I said that just because of the schedule. And I knew Aaron Donald and them would get to him at some point. I knew this Bengals defense, they're not, to playing the Steelers today, they're not good, but they're scrappy. These guys will hit you. They'll hit you dirty. They'll hit you under the belt. Like, these guys, they get down like that. Like, I've watched them for a couple seasons now, and I have realized that. I did expect this would be the game that Andy got injured. It happened a week earlier. But with Justin coming in, like, Justin, we're with you, bro. We understand that. We understand what's going on with you. You are dealt it a hard hand right now. Like, it's Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Duplett, and all these other cats on that defense that are already established. They already have chemistry. They already gel very well. So it's definitely going to be a dogfight. But to me, you don't have to be great. You don't have to chuck over 300, 400 yards. You don't have to have 5 tutties. You don't have to you can just do your thing, because the fact of the matter is Odell is more than likely going to be a decoy. And I might eat those words saying that, but going into it from a football perspective, and I think coach can agree, if I was a head coach and I'm going into this week, I see Odell as more of a decoy than he really is a huge threat, because you don't want to put too much pressure on him and re-aggravate something that's already going down after an ACL injury, especially if he's in his 30s now. Definitely wouldn't mess with that. So do just enough. Be that guy. You have the Lions next week, so if you crap the bed, you definitely have next week to recover and look great. So there's always that. There's always that. You can always have an Aaron Rodgers segment where you crap the bed week 1 and then week 2 you look astounding. And we will take that for what it is. I think this is a new era regardless. At the end of the day, I'm excited for it. And the biggest thing for me is not on Justin Fields today. Justin Fields does not have the most pressure to win this game. It's Matt Nagy. You said the playbook is fully open. So I better see more than Allen Robinson running 10-yard screen passes, 10-yard routes, and just completely fumbling the bag on what once was that 2018 offense. So I need to see more of that. I need to see this playbook opened up, and I need to see better plays. If you look at it, the best plays of Justin Fields so far have been his own plays. These aren't Matt Nagy designed run plays. This is Justin Fields escaping the pocket, waiting for guys to run back, and he chucks that. Ooh, I almost said something I shouldn't have on TV.
So let me ask you this, Mike. You don't see there's a lot of pressure on Justin Fields right now? It's more on the head coach.
Without a doubt.
Do you think these next few games, though, with that being said, do you think this is going to define Matt Nagy's career at Chicago?
Without a doubt. And we talked about it earlier. We talked about Texas with Patrick Mahomes. You've had a system in a year with Patrick Mahomes. You've had Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky, Andy Dalton, and now Justin Fields, and a few other cats in between. So Let me ask you this, Charles, real quick. Have you seen it from what you've seen from the Bears and just from Matt Nagy's offense throughout the years? Have you seen any difference between those offenses with all those different types of quarterbacks? No. You really don't. It's the same
Not really.
thing.
I'm not sure how that was a question. You answered it, but I agree.
Exactly. And
it's bread and butter. It's very plain. It's a bagel with no cream cheese. It really is.
So here's my thing. The sole reason Andy Dalton started in the first place, is that you could say, well, that's the reason my offense still looks the same way as it does, is because I want to use that with Justin the following year. Now your hand is forced. Now you also opened your fat mouth and said that the playbook is completely open. If you would have said the playbook was restricted because Justin doesn't understand that, which we all know would be a lie, but we'd let it slide, that's one thing. But you said the playbook's open, so let me see it. You have Allen Robinson, you have Jimmy Graham, Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, Justin Fields. Let's see it.
It's there. It's
there.
all the pieces are there. You're right. Let's just see what he does. Coach.
So if I don't see it against the Lions, especially, you're done, bro. You're fired by week 9.
Go ahead, Coach. What do you think? I mean, there's a lot there that Mike said. We started with the Justin Fields, how he's going to do. Now we went into the coaching thing. Then we're going into week 2 with the second start that he's going to have against the Lions. So all that together in 2 minutes.
To be honest with you, I just really, truly. Here's my issue with Justin Fields. It's not the throwing. It's the reading. Can he make sure he reads? Can he understand blitz pickups? Because even that when he got hit in the preseason game, he misread it. So I think that's going to be his biggest issue.
He didn't even misread it. He didn't even see it.
Yeah, but you got to understand that blitz. That's the thing about it. You got to understand who's everybody's picking up and who it is. Because if you look, who was it? God damn, I can't think of it. It was one game. You take the line. I can't remember the game it was where it's totally off the subject. The old line was the Texans. They would call out all the hots on who to get, and the quarterback didn't even make not one call. Like the linemen were calling it out for him because he doesn't know. And that's the thing. And that's the thing I think that he's going to struggle with because you don't have that. You might not have that smartness on the O line. So and now you're coming with the Cleveland Browns. You got 2 good pass rushers. You got a good secondary that's gonna mix it up with you. Definitely. So I think that's gonna be the issue. Like I said, I don't really follow Nagy offensively because I wasn't never been a Nagy offensive fan. Because I love offenses. I love to read, figure out things what they're gonna
down
do.
There, Coach. I'm with you with that.
So again, I understand why I wouldn't start him. Well, you have no choice now. I believe it was right not to start him just for the simple fact of the matter because he needs to grow and learn. You take all the good quarterbacks that are good, they set.
Right.
They started week 8, week 9, week 10, or whatever, but they set. So I honestly, truthfully, this is the field show. It starts now. What's the name? Red Rifle, he's done. He ain't coming back. You can say Nagy said it, whatever. He's going to keep him in because you got to ride with it now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, right now, your starter's out. Nagy says he's coming back when he's healthy, but then again,
and that's the thing, Coach. I keep seeing you nod your head. I wanna, and because you don't follow him, I want you to understand. He'll do it. Justin Fields can throw 300 yards 3 weeks straight, and we could go 3-0. He'll put Andy back in. That's the type of ego this guy has, bro.
What you got to realize, if you got to realize, there's people above Nagy.
Oh, definitely. But bro, I promise you, he just doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He does. I just don't. I think, like I said, I think it's too early. I always thought it was too early. When we used to have this argument all the time, I think I was like on that one because he doesn't have everything to protect him.
Right. I think if Kevin Jenkins, our first round pick or our second round pick, was available, he's our left tackle. I definitely think you got to throw him the kid. You got to throw in the kid. You got Jason Peters. You got a great offensive line there now. But it's very slim now. It got very injured very fast, and that really changed. You even noticed that changed my thoughts on it because when preseason first started, I was all for Justin playing. I was throw him in with offense is better. It's revamped. It's a little bugged up now. So it's one of those situations where is it worth it in the long run, like a Tua situation? Is it worth playing Tua in year 1?
I just don't. I think again, I'm gonna say that this is my last. I just don't think he can read a defense. I don't really think he can just read one because if you look, the games that he has struggled in was even in college. It was the Clemson. It was Alabama. And one thing about it is
he lit Clemson up.
Huh?
He lit Clemson up.
No, the year before.
Oh, you're talking about the year before?
Yeah, not the year.
What happened the year after?
Yes, but the defense wasn't.
He cracked his rib and put up 50.
But that defense is what they was. But anyway, or even when he played Alabama. So look, that's my opinion. Charles, go to the next segment. I know
he
go all day with these Bears.
This is gonna get worse than last week. We're gonna go to like 1. If this
he'll go all day with the Bears. So come on, Charles. Next.
Anyway, okay, so they're facing Cleveland, which is no joke of a defense, and you're right. If he doesn't read defense as well, he may have another helmet or 2 knocked off his head.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, so let's go.
One thrown at him by Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that too. Let's go right into Would You Rather, because it is a short segment on Would You Rather. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys 2 options. That's all I came up with, which, you know what? We're already at 11 o'clock right now, so we got 30 minutes to do everything now. So, all right, guys, would you rather? There's 2 free agents out there that are getting a lot of attention. Richard Sherman and Josh Gordon. You have needs on your respective team at both secondary and wide receiver. Would you rather choose Richard Sherman or Josh Gordon? You cannot say both. Mike, go ahead because you have the smile.
Richard Sherman, bro. Richard, I don't care what Richard did. You know, like it was not throughout his entire career that we've seen these issues. And, you know, if we're talking about my team specifically, I would rather have the secondary fixed up than bring in someone like Josh Gordon, who will play 2 weeks to have 300 yards passing or receiving and then be out the rest of the season because he decided to do cocaine after a win. But it's definitely one of those situations where Richard has the pedigree. Richard has the veteran leadership. Richard's been that guy. I feel for Josh Gordon, addiction is a real problem, all jokes aside. But he's just not reliable at the end of the day.
Coach, what do you think? Sherman or Gordon?
Man, we gotta go Sherman. They both got their demons right now. But one thing, Sherman has won Super Bowls. He's played in Super Bowls. So at least if I know, depending on my team, if I don't have a secondary leader, he can at least come in and at least lead and teach, prepare, teach them how to watch film, teach them how to study. So I think that's the biggest thing more than anything that Richard brings to the table.
Right. All right. And the things Josh might be teaching your wide receivers might not be what you want your wide receivers to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Which nose do I stick the straw up? All right. Now there's more going to be for Mike, and again, keep the rhetoric
very short.
Very short. We don't know how Fields is going to do. We don't know. But just right now, if you had to go ahead and put one on the bench, do you go ahead and sit Andy for the rest of the season, or do you sit Justin Fields for the rest of the season, not taking in Andy's injury?
Are you talking like if I had to pick who's QB1 right now, like no injuries?
Yep.
For me, I think it's a weird situation. I personally would go with Andy just until that offensive line is fixed, because I've watched what's happening to Tua and I've watched what's happening to other guys throughout the league that don't have offensive lines that play their rookie year. I don't want a Joe Burrow situation. I don't want a Tua situation where this guy has a devastating injury and going into year 2, instead of wondering about your development, I have to wonder, are you healthy?
Okay, Coach.
Oh, red rifle. I said that from the beginning. I just want you have to have stuff around rookie quarterback. For them to be good, for them to be great, you got to have stuff. You got to have things around them. And then also you got to have a coach that put them in the best situation. You got to tweak your offense. I think that's where a lot of teams mess up. We're going to run this offense. It's going to be like this. I mean, you look at the Patriots. Patriots ran a different offense almost every year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they try to evolve. They try to do it. Sometimes they nail it. Sometimes it's like, what in the world are you doing?
Sometimes it's Sony Michel just running up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep. All right. That's it. That's the 2 would you rathers. Honestly, I kind of went ahead and you know what? This is the trap week for me, because I'm looking forward to Disney next week. So this is my trap week. So I wasn't totally ready to go for the would you rathers, but I'm definitely ready to go with Panic or Patience. Panic or Patience is our next one. I got 5 of them that we're going to go ahead and do. And of course, some of them have to do with some of the injuries that have gone on right now. So first, number 1, I'm going to go ahead and say Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Tua turn the ball over, or Tagovailoa, or whatever the hell you say his name. Tua. Injury. He's on IR, which means he could come back, like week 8 or something like that? Week 7 or 8?
I think it's like week 8, 9. Yeah. I think 6 at earliest, but
yeah.
It's 6, you get 3 weeks.
Okay. So he could come back, but This is broken ribs. This is ribs. This is, preventing you from breathing. You get sacked. That can you land on your ribs. I don't care what padding you have. Panic or patience? Are we patient with Jacoby? Maybe even Deshaun? Or do we go ahead and panic because the person that we relied on our offense is not there? Coach.
Patience. And I say patience because you got to look what's going on else in the AFC East. That's your focus. Try to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So when you look, everybody's pretty much 1-1. So except the Jets. So everybody's 1-1. Plus, if you look at even the AFC overall, try to get a wild card. Majority of teams are still 1-1. So you still have time. So right now, just be patient and just hope we can just out of these. He's out 3 weeks. Let's try to win 2 of the 3 or 1 of the 2. If he's out 4 weeks, let's go 50-50.
Right.
Mike, what do you think?
I think it's a two-sided answer with patience on Deshaun Watson's situation, but panic about Tua. I mean, it's definitely a concerning thing. I think I agree with Coach. You're supposed to be very patient, and you're supposed to understand Jacoby is next man up. He's been QB1 before. He's been QB2 before. He knows what it's like to step in. And it's definitely a situation where you have to go 50-50 and you have to win some games and you understand if you lose some. But with Tua's situation as a whole, it's definitely a panic situation because this isn't just, 2 years in a row with Miami. This is 3-4 years in a row of being injured if you're counting Alabama, counting college. And it's not little injuries. Like, dude, you're 21 years old. You broke your hip. My grandmother and you run the same 40 right now. It's that bad. It's definitely concerning. So I say panic on Tua, patience on Deshaun.
Okay. All right. Christian McCaffrey. He is going to be out a few weeks. Now, we all saw that, Sam Darnold did pretty good when he was injured and he got out. But does Sam continue it? Panic or patience on Christian McCaffrey and the fate of the Panthers offense? Mike.
I patience because of how McCaffrey is and because how good he is. There's not a lot of good white running backs out in there. So growing up, I loved when you would see that because I played a little running back here and there. So it's always fun to see guys like that. He's definitely a franchise type guy. The only reason I say patience is because you haven't, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They haven't given him a bag yet. They haven't given him that max contract like you have with a Zeke or you have with Alvin Kamara or Aaron Jones. So it's definitely where, we'll wait for him to come back and we'll see what happens. And like Coach says all the time, running backs are a dime a dozen. So, I love Christian. I definitely think they don't have any plans of getting rid of Christian, but I definitely don't think they're concerned about having to pay him a lot of money in the long haul if these injuries continue.
What about the offense, though? Any concerns about the few weeks that he's going to be?
I think Chubbard can get it done. I think losing Mike Davis is a big L. I definitely thought that going into the season. I thought it was a very good backup to have. He's flourishing with Atlanta, but anybody would. But I think Sam can definitely hold it down with the amount of weapons we've had. We've seen it with the Cowboys. Dak didn't look to Zeke at all. So he's just pass. And if Sam can step up and be that guy, again, Jets have a lot of questions to answer.
Go ahead, Coach.
Patience. One thing about it is they're gonna play defense. Sam just has to make sure he just don't just throw it away. Just don't give up pick sixes. I think the kid, the Hubbard, the backup, I think he's similar to Christian McCaffrey, except he's not as explosive as Christian McCaffrey. He kind of did the same thing when he was in college.
He's a little bigger too, right?
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger. But again, you're 3-0. You can afford a loss, right. 1 or 2 losses. Because the simple fact of the matter is for them, it's not necessarily we're not going to win the South. We're not going to beat Tampa. But we can get a wild card spot. Which, because if you look, you got NFC West is not doing good. NFC East is a throw up there. So everything else is the South. And I'm sorry, not NFC West, NFC North and NFC East.
I let that one slide. I was like, but I was like,
I'm not going to argue with a coach. Come on.
No. So really, if you really think about it, your wild card games are coming out of the NFC South and NFC West.
Right.
So you just need to keep an eye on that because you know the other side, they're only bringing in, they're not taking a wild card spot.
Right.
So you're fine. Just be patient.
All right. TJ Watt, we only know it's like a game. I think we talked about it already. It's a groin injury, which could be easily, re-injured. Going up against Cincinnati, would you be worried about TJ Watt not being on your side against Joe Burrow and the Bengals? Or do you ride it out? Or you don't have to ride it out, but would you be worried, or would you have patience on your defense that's already there, Coach?
Patience. Hey, 1-2 is not bad. It's the AFC. You'll be all right. TJ getting the best money could buy with treatment, so he'll be fine. He'll be good in about 2 weeks.
He better. All that money he took, they're probably in bankruptcy now for all the treatment that he has to do on his wee-wee. Mike, what do you think, though?
Wow. But it was definitely one of those things where, I like this Bengals offense. I think in the next few years, they are going to be top notch. Boyd, Higgins, Chase, Mixon stepping up a lot. We got Joe.
But do you think Burrow gets a few extra seconds now that TJ is on the bench?
I definitely think he does. But the point of me saying that about them developing and in a few years being serious was because I don't think they're quite there yet. I think this Steelers defense is still very, very, very experienced. Playing together, these guys are still new on the Bengals side of things. So I say patience. I think TJ being gone definitely is a big issue, but it's next man mentality at the end of the day. And I think with Mike Tomlin coaching, the adjustments are going to be made, and Joe Burrow is still going to be running for his life at the end of the day, regardless of who's on that defense.
Okay. All right. 0-2 teams. This is kind of a collective, collected patience or panic. You got the Colts, Lions, Falcons, Jags, Vikings, Giants, and Jets, excuse me. Out of those 0-2 teams, who should panic?
All of them except the Colts.
All of them except the Colts. So you say Colts should have patience.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and I say that because
you're
you're 0-2, but you're in it. What you got the Texans 0-3. You have Jaguars
1-2.
Huh?
Texans are 1-2. Remember,
they beat the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Texas 1-2. Jaguars 0-3. You have Tennessee 1-1. So you're fine. You're fine. Now the rest of them, you have a lot of issues. You got quarterback issues. You got coaching issues. Everybody else is necessarily. You might as well say all of them patient. Jaguars. Let's just get ready for the draft. That's it. The majority of Falcons. You know what? We are where we are. Let's just get ready for the draft.
Are the Jags trying to go for a 2 straight number 1 picks?
They don't have a choice. You got to
wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, it's true. Wouldn't hate it. You're right. Mike, what do you think? Out of those teams, Colts, Lions, Falcons, Jags, Vikings, Giants, and Jets, who should have patience and who should be panicking?
I think, I wanted to go into this saying that the Colts should be the only ones to panic. Only because you paid Carson. You ever since Andrew Luck went down, you've been looking for that replacement, and you kind of paid you have Carson paying a lot of money to be injured. So that's definitely a conversation to be had. But I think that defense is good. That O-line is good. Pascal looks amazing. And when Hilton comes back, I'm very excited for that. You got Jonathan Taylor. I like them. My biggest panic right now is the Vikings. You have Justin Jefferson. You have Dalvin Cook injured again. You have Adam Thielen. You have a pretty decent defense. It's not great, but it's decent. Your problem is Kirk Cousins and this window of opportunity with Aaron Rodgers leaving and Justin Fields, trying to groom himself, and the Lions being the Lions. You have this opportunity to where going into next year, you could potentially take this division with this offense that you have. The problem is Kirk Cousins. The problem is Kirk Cousins getting it done at the end of the day. And you have a very good conversation to have right now about where you want to go moving forward with this year. Are you tanking for a quarterback of the future? Are you rocking with Keelan Mond? Or are you just going to stick with Kirk the next few years and wait for this team to just leave or just age?
What do you think of the Vikings possibly trying to go ahead into the market for Deshaun?
No.
First of all, I don't think they have the cap space for that. And secondly, I don't really think they have the amount of offers that, you know, the Dolphins would have. The Dolphins have a lot of picks. The Dolphins have a lot of picks to offer. So I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Even the Eagles too.
All right. Last but not least, another injury, Andy Dalton. This is actually panic patience for Matt Nagy. Panic or patience? Do we go ahead? Because now that my experienced quarterback, who I was going to rely on to go ahead and start, is down, do I panic with Justin Fields, or am I giving him patience and he's going to pull up the nose of the sinking plane? Mike, you're on deck. Coach, you're first.
Patience.
Yeah, Coach.
Patience.
No,
I don't.
No,
Patience.
let him talk.
Here's why. I think the owner is content with what he got. I mean, they made the playoffs, 2 out of his 3 years he's been there?
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. So I think everybody keeps saying, hey, he's going to get fired. He's going to get fired. He's going to get fired. But I'm like, he's making the playoffs. No one has them picked to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say patience. Regardless of the situation, I think he'll be back another year.
All right. Mike, you're up.
It's a funny situation, and I watch him all the time. I wish I could play the video for you guys right now, where, you know, they interviewed him this week, and he goes, "Oh well, now that Justin Fields is getting QB1 reps, he's really looking good. I'm seeing things I didn't see at the beginning of the season." Everybody else saw it. Everybody else on that roster saw it. So for me, he acts like a year one coach. He acts like Urban Meyers with Trevor Lawrence. He's acting like, oh, well, we both need to learn from each other. No, you're experienced. You're supposed to be a Mike Tomlin type guy, an Andy Reid type guy who understands how to run this system. But you're acting like, oh, well, I'm new here and he's new here, so we're figuring it out together. You've been here. You should have figured this out by now. So I think it's panic on his side of things, because I didn't think he'd have to play that Justin Fields card yet. I think he was going to hold it out as long as he could so that he could gain that extra year. I agree with Coach. You know, our ownership is very poor with decision-making with George McCaskey, but we love Virginia, but George is Jesus. But it's definitely a conversation that he had that, you know, the hand has been dealt, and you either got to pick up those cards or you got to lay it down and walk away from the table. And at the end of the day, if you don't fold down a royal flush at least once this season, and I don't see that top tier offense we used to see for that, 8 to 10 game stretch in 2018, I definitely think it's a concern, and I definitely think he's freaking out.
Yeah.
Nah.
No. Go ahead. Closing comments, Coach.
No, I don't think he's freaking out, because that's any and every team that's average or a losing team. Jaguars freaking out at Urban Meyers. Hell, the Dallas Cowboys coach, they want to get him fired. They talk about Jerry Jones all the time. I just think that's just how it is. I mean, you think with your heart. So when you think with your heart and not really just seeing, hey, this and that, you look at the bigger picture. He's made the playoffs 2 out of 3 years.
Right. Why though?
What coaches have done that? I think just down to take him.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing is he's made the playoffs. Like, it's not like he just went over, or it's not like he hasn't had a winning record or anything. He made the playoffs.
Right. No, yeah, that's definitely a good point.
I've seen coaches make the Super Bowl that have been canned 2 years later, though.
And look at Lovie Smith's history. He had a 10-6 season and got canned for it. And to your point, Coach, I love what you're saying, and I'll keep it very short. We don't got enough time. We could do this a whole nother day, talk all about the Bears, but this defense isn't what it was, and that's what got you there those 2 or 3 years, and it's not what it was anymore. So right now, it's an offensive heavy team, and that's what it needs to become, because that's what takes you to a Super Bowl at the end of the day.
But I agree with you, and you see teams that they got canned because they went 10-6 and everything else, because but the potential was Super Bowl. You take the Patriots. If the Patriots don't make the playoffs this year, next year, now you're saying Bill has to go.
Right, but here's the thing, though. Are you content with 3 out of 4 years of just expecting the playoffs, or do you want to elevate to that next level and be Super Bowl contenders? Because making the playoffs is cool, I guess.
I think the Super Bowl is the ultimate goal, but you have to have realistic expectations in regards to what if you're bringing in a brand new quarterback like the Patriots are with Mac Jones, like the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. you're not expecting Super Bowl, and the Jets definitely ain't expecting playoffs with Zach Wilson behind the helm. But I'm just saying,
I don't know what
that's the ultimate goal
Right.
for any team. We got to cut it off we got to cut off the knees right now, though. Let's go. The new segment we have, the Vegas 5. What I'm going to do is I have 5 games where the spread could be the determining factor of if you make money or not. Now, of course, there's some states that have the full integration of the betting platform. So this is maybe something you want to go ahead and jot your notes down to. So I have 5 games here, the Vegas 5. I have Kansas City getting 6 points against the Chargers. Do you take the Chargers or do you think Kansas City covers? Mike.
Kansas City without a doubt. And I just think is it in Kansas today or is it in LA?
It's in Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas. Just because of what happened with Lamar, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to go out today and show out.
All right. Coach?
Kansas.
Same way.
It's going to be a shootout. If you look at it, they're going to correct their issues. So Kansas.
They're going to win more than 6.
Yes, it's going to be 14.
All right. Baltimore is against Detroit. Baltimore is favored. It's in Detroit, by the way. Baltimore is favored by 7.5. Baltimore goes ahead and covers, or is Detroit come in and lose, but not by much? Coach?
I'm gonna say Lions. They'll probably lose by 3 or 7 points because that defense is banged up. I think someone else is out for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
so,
I think a linebacker.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a run heavy game on both sides. So I'm gonna say Lions gonna.
Right, Mike.
I got Lions. Lions specifically just because of Hawkinson and Goff, and I think they're definitely going to keep you in that game. Swift, I'm not sold on Swift yet. I think there's a lot of issues there, muscle injuries, but I definitely could see them catching this game. I think Lamar's a little too hyped about that Super Bowl win they had last week.
Calm down. It's regular season. And
I got one, dude. I got one.
Yeah, talk to Coach. It's only 2 games in. You don't talk any playoffs yet. Denver against the Jets, but Denver is favored by 10. Do the Jets go ahead and go?
I think we can skip this one. I think we can skip this one.
You guys think both Denver?
I think
yes, Denver.
I don't even think we have to
by 10, by more than 10.
Yes, Denver by
definitely. I'd put as much money as possible.
21 points.
Okay. Arizona and Jacksonville. Arizona's favored by 7.5. Do you say Arizona blowing them out, or does Jacksonville keep it close? This is in Jacksonville.
Now you go 14.
Arizona by 14?
Yep.
All right.
I got to agree with Coach.
Yeah.
This next one's going to be tough for Mike. Cleveland, favored by 7 at home against Chicago. Does Cleveland cover, or is Chicago pull an upset?
I'd bet on Chicago. I'd bet on Chicago if you're actually trying to make money. If you want to take that bet and have that wild card, Landry's out, Baker's banged up. If you want to have your risk of the week, no, I definitely think it with my heart. But you tell me Landry's out. You tell me Odell is coming back for the first time in a year. Baker's banged up. It's definitely a conversation to have, and it's definitely, if you're trying to do a parlay and you're trying to make some money, why not?
Go ahead, Coach. What do you think?
Man, I'm going to go Cleveland.
You're going to go Cleveland, blowing them out by more than 7.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, yes.
All right. Well, listen, let's go ahead and get to our picks. Now, let's also go ahead and state that Coach was 10-4 last week. Mike was 9-5, and I was 8-6. That puts right now Mike and I at 15-14. Coach is like up there at 17. 17, 18. No, I think you're 18 and 8. If I did the math correctly. I had the graphic, but I don't have it anymore.
It doesn't matter.
What sucks? If you watch back really quick, if you watch back to last week, I had Lamar, and last second I switched.
You did.
That pissed me off.
Right here. This is you right here.
Oh my God.
That was you. All right, let's get to the picks here.
Let me down again, Pat.
first game we're going to go ahead and do with a frig is my pencil. Oh, pen. Damn it. All right, here we go. All right, first game. Indianapolis in Tennessee to take on the Titans. I'm going to say Tennessee.
I have Tennessee as well.
Tennessee for both of you guys. Okay. Next one we have is the Atlanta Garbage versus the New York Packers. Both teams 0-2. Both teams in New York. I say the Giants.
Yeah, dude, I was so confused what you were just talking about. But I was like, I thought about Freddie, but no, I got the Giants.
Yeah, Giants.
Were they playing in New York?
They're playing in New York. Yes.
ATL, shouty.
Even in New York. Kansas City and the Chargers in KC. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say KC on this one.
Kansas City.
You let me down last week, Patty. I'm going to go Kansas City. I'm going to need that dub.
Yeah. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. We know about TJ Watt not playing. Does Cincinnati step it up? I say no.
I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Cincinnati to keep. All right. Coach?
Let's go Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Chicago and Cleveland. Mike, do I just put you down for Chicago now?
Yes, sir.
All right. We're going Cleveland.
Dog pound. Let's go. Stand up.
They haven't stood up since 1960-something.
They went deep in the playoffs, sir, last year.
Baltimore coming off their Super Bowl 57 victory, going up against Detroit in Detroit. 56, excuse me. Going up against Detroit, who's 0-2. Yeah, you know what? Detroit's showing some fight. I'm going to go Detroit.
I got Ravens.
Come on, Lamar. Let's run for 160.
New Orleans and New England. Jameis Winston, which one are we going to see? And it's in New England. So does Mac Jones get his first win at home? I say he does.
I got New Orleans, you said?
New Orleans, New England.
I got the Patriots.
I'm going to say New Orleans.
Okay. Arizona, Jacksonville. I see. I'm gonna be stupid. I'm gonna say Jacksonville.
I got Arizona.
Arizona.
I know I was gonna get that. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, you're good for one upset a week.
Yeah, I know. It happens.
That's why I bet on the Bengals, because I think Joe Mixon's really showing out lately, and TJ not being there, I think there's a presence to be said.
The Washington Red football team facing off against the Buffalo Bills, who I need a new stadium. Both 1-1 in the old stadium. Washington's got a good D, I'm telling you, but I'm going to stick with Buffalo.
I got Buffalo.
No, you can't. The quarterback, Redskins.
Oh, I love Josh Allen more.
I like Heineke, but Heineke.
I love Josh. Josh, my guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Hey, Heineke, it's all love though, bro. Throw your yards up, cut. Dot them up.
He needs to chuck it too. The Wooly Jets going to Denver to go ahead and take on Check Down Teddy, or Teddy Check Down. Yeah, I don't even know why they even show up to Denver.
3-0 Broncos. 3-0.
Miami going into Vegas to face the Raiders. No Tua, Jacoby Brissett. The Raiders 2-0. We're gonna do all Vegas.
Vegas,
Yes, sir.
Seattle going into Minnesota. I'm gonna throw Minnesota in there.
Nah, I got Seattle. Dalvin Cook's out.
Nah, he's playing.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, they said he's not?
Yeah, he's not.
I was going to Seattle anyway, because after what they just did.
Yeah, if you telling me shot for shot, Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins, I'm good, bro. I'll take Russ.
Tampa Bay in LA, 425 game. And both 2-0. Who's moving to 3-0?
Give me Stafford, baby.
No. What? Who?
Give me Stafford.
Yeah. You know why? Brady's looking forward to the New England game.
Mm-hmm.
TB12 LFG. Let's go.
Oh, well, you can't say the middle word. In San Francisco for Sunday Night Football. Green Bay, San Fran. Damn. San Fran's 2-0, but I think they're going to go 2-1. I'm going with the cheese.
Got to give it to them. They do not have a great run game right now. I'm definitely giving it to Green Bay. Aaron Jones had a great performance. Aaron Rodgers does his thing. That secondary is weak in San Fran.
He's getting all the trolls off his back. What do you say, Coach?
Oh, I'll go with the Packers, man. I don't know what's the issue with the 49ers, but they're just injury prone, period.
It's bad.
They need to fire the whole training staff.
The whole medical staff.
Everybody needs to be gone. I don't wish nobody getting fired, but God, dog, it's too many injuries.
In the NFC East for Monday Night Football, it's Philadelphia and Dallas. Somebody's getting a winning record after this game, and I think it's Dallas.
Is it in where is it at?
It's in Dallas.
It's in Dallas.
I'm going to give it to Dallas just because I could see that they were offensively put to face off against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't know if Jalen Hurts is ready with Devontae Smith yet to take on that.
Yeah, he's going to get hurt. It's going to get hurt. What do you say, Coach?
Man, I'm right with Dallas, man. Dallas been live this whole weekend. You had the State Fair. You had the Arkansas game, Arkansas A&M. You had the PV Classic. Hey, I'm riding with Dallas.
Gotta go with Dallas.
Ladies and gentlemen, week 3 is in the books. I will not be here on week 4 hosting, so hopefully one of you guys will step up. I will be on the show, though, because I'm not going to go ahead and duck away from Brady going back to Foxborough. We're talking about that. Definitely.
Ran all the way to Disney. Ran all the way. That's why he went to the happiest place in the world, because next week's stressful.
I will come live from So Sunday, I'll be at Hollywood Studios. I'll be right there in front of Slinky Dog.
That's a good time.
Hey, let's go.
Damn right. All right. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Week 3's in the books. See you next week for week 4. For Coach Mike, I'm Charles. Take care, everybody. Later.